From the ground to the skies and on into the stars. Here to pilot you through today's commercial-free headlines on CNN Student News, I'm Carl Azuz. First up, what do Asheville, North Carolina, Dover, Delaware, and Newark, New Jersey all have in common? This. They're 3 of the 8 cities that were under a blizzard warning yesterday. A blizzard warning when the National Weather Service predicts strong winds and heavy snow in a big way. Those conditions have hammered the eastern U.S. At one point in Washington, D.C., the snow was falling at a rate of 2 inches per hour. In fact, this is now the snowiest winter on record for some cities. Wilmington, Delaware's gotten 5 feet of snow. Baltimore, Maryland's seen more than 6 feet. It's left local governments scrambling to find ways to try to clear off the white blanket and to pay for snow removal equipment and workers. In Washington, the blizzard has kept a lot of government employees home from work all week long, but the government is still at work. Yesterday, President Obama met with leaders of the African American community to talk about how the recession has affected urban communities around the country. The national unemployment rate is at 9.7%, but among African Americans, it's at more than 15%. During yesterday's meeting, the heads of the NAACP and the National Urban League said they're not looking for special attention, but they want to be involved in the process, and they want the government to focus on areas that have been hit especially hard.
We want people to know how this Great Recession, the worst recession we've had since the Great Depression, is impacting all communities, but having a very severe impact on urban communities and on the chronically unemployed.
There's another car company that's making an international recall. This time it is Honda, and it's related to airbags. The problem is that they might inflate with too much pressure, and if the airbag breaks, it could injure someone, could even cause death. This affects certain models that were built between 2001 and 2002. It's actually an expansion of a recall that started in 2008. Back then, it affected about 4,000 cars. Now it includes nearly 1 million vehicles worldwide. Honda says it'll notify customers by mail or phone with instructions on how to get their cars inspected and updated. Government offices were closed in Greece yesterday, not because of weather, it was because of a strike. Courts and schools were shut down too. Workers turned out in protest of some of the ways that the country wants to help turn around its struggling economy. One plan is to raise the retirement age. That's when employees can start collecting retirement, start collecting pensions. Other ideas include making some cuts to bonus pay and putting a freeze on hiring. The Greek government says this is the only way to get the country's national debt under control. One of the officials who helped organize yesterday's strike says he understands the government's problem, but he doesn't think workers should have to suffer. He thinks bankers should have to pay, since he blamed them for creating the problem. Thousands of people took part in yesterday's strike. It was only scheduled to last 1 day. There are expected to be a lot more strikes across Greece in the future, though. Another major work stoppage scheduled for later this month.
Is this legit? Alpha Centauri is the closest star to the Earth. Not legit. The Sun, which is actually a star, is the closest one to our planet.
And it's the Sun that NASA wants to get to know better. The space agency is launching a Living with a Star program. The goal of that is to learn more about the Sun and its effects on the Earth. The first step, the Solar Dynamics Observatory. This thing was supposed to launch yesterday. It was delayed by strong winds. But once it does get into the sky, the Solar Dynamics Observatory, or SDO, will spend 5 years taking pictures of the Sun. These images will have about 10 times better resolution than an HD TV, and the SDO will take one every 10 seconds. What that'll do is help scientists study solar weather, the atmosphere around the Sun. That includes solar winds and solar flares, explosions in the Sun's atmosphere. Here's why those things are important. The flares can cause a lot of problems for us on Earth. They can mess with satellite communications, GPS systems, and power grids. In fact, one solar flare back in 1969 knocked a power grid in Canada offline for 9 hours. Right now, there's no way to predict solar weather, but experts hope the SDO can change that and help people prepare for when solar weather hits.
At the moment, we really only have perhaps an hour or two of warning. So we'd really like to be able to say that the sun is gearing up for another one of these events, and to know whether or not this solar storm is heading directly towards the Earth. The more notice we have, the more precautions people can take.
A little closer to home, it's still about 250 miles above the Earth's surface. The Space Shuttle Endeavour caught up with the International Space Station. The shuttle docked with the ISS on Wednesday, and if you think that's easy, just remember they were both traveling at more than 17,000 miles per hour at the time. Now, the shuttle crew will get to work installing some new parts in the space station, and once this 2-week mission is over, the ISS should be about 90% complete.
Today's shout-out goes out to Mrs. Morris's video technology class at Winston Churchill High School in San Antonio, Texas. Which of these words describes selfless concern for other people's well-being? If you think you know it, shout it out. Is it autonomy, perseverance, altruism, or perspicacity? You've got 3 seconds. Go! Showing unselfish concern for others is called altruism. That's your answer, and that's your shout-out.
One American teenager's altruism is helping young people half a world away. Rwanda is a nation in Central Africa. It's been ravaged by years of fighting. When Jessica Markowitz first learned about the struggles facing girls in Rwanda, she was younger than most of you are right now. But as Alina Cho explains, that didn't stop Markowitz from trying to make a difference.
She looks like an ordinary teenager, but there's a reason why 14-year-old Jessica Markowitz draws a crowd. She has hope.
And I just felt like it was my turn to sort of make a difference.
At 11.
At 11 years old.
3 years ago, at the age of 11, this unassuming girl from Seattle started a charity to help educate girls a world away. Richard's Rwanda was inspired by Richard Kananga, a Rwandan man who Jessica's family hosted during his visit in 2006.
What was it about what Richard said to you that inspired you?
I think just hearing about young girls my age not having the same opportunities as I had, and really hearing about how some of them are the heads of their households, which means they're taking care of their siblings when I have a mother and a father to take care of me and a family to support me, and I just didn't see how it was fair.
Jessica was so outraged by stories about the Rwandan genocide, about orphans who could no longer attend school, she decided to act, providing supplies, uniforms, even shoes for young Rwandan girls.
$40 can support a girl in Rwanda to go to school for a year. And
$40?
$40.
Wow.
And
when you tell people that, how do they react?
They're definitely very surprised, and they say, well, wow, I can make such an easy difference. I mean, I spend $40 on a shirt.
Here, you get the money for you.
Instead of $1,000 plate fundraisers, there are $1 bake sales, strategy meetings. Jessica has even traveled to Rwanda. The charity is so popular, Richard's Rwanda has 6 chapters in Seattle alone.
It's an example of saying, I can do something. I can dream big. And I can really impact lives of others.
It's working. When Jessica recently landed on the front page of the Seattle Times, Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen saw the story and donated $25,000, bringing Jessica's total to $75,000 in 3 years. Her next goal, build a library and return to Rwanda this summer.
Earlier this week, we talked about the issue of childhood obesity. We told you how the White House is weighing in on it, what solutions people are proposing. We want to know what solutions you propose to help end childhood obesity in America. Go to our blog. You see our front page right there. All you have to do is click on childhood obesity, and you will be where you need to be. CNNStudentNews.com. Before we go, there are some people who just won't wait their turn. Like at this hotel in Florida. Check out this deer. It barges in, demands service, doesn't even wait in line. Actually, that was a pretty good jump. The thing cleared the counter in one leap and then just took off down the hallway, never checked in, at least not officially. And eventually it turned tail and headed back off into the woods. And all it left us with was that endearing image. We're going to hoof it on out of here. Hope you have a great day. For CNN Student News, I'm Carl Azuz.